Hello and welcome to A Cup of Tea with Dr. Z, where we share everyday stories with you, everyday women. Are you ready to hear heart-to-heart key issues that we all face, no matter where we are in the world? So grab your cup of tea and let's welcome your host, author, international speaker, reinvention strategist, and woman that's full of faith in God and mankind, Dr. Zena Arinzi.
Hello, 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 hello. Let's see how pretty I look. I got lipstick on my teeth. This is funny. Hello, 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 hello. Don't mind the lipstick on my teeth. You are welcome to another edition, the 5th edition of A Cup of Tea with me, Dr. Z. I'll just play another infomercial for you and then we'll be right back.
Hello and welcome to A Cup of Tea with Dr. Z, where we share everyday stories with you, everyday women. Are you ready to hear heart-to-heart key issues that we all face, no matter where we are in the world? So grab your cup of tea and let's welcome your host, author, international speaker, reinvention strategist, and woman that's full of faith in God and mankind, Dr. Zena Arinzi.
That's me, back in your space. How are you? Happy New Year. We made it. We're in another year. And I am so excited today because today is episode 5. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Episode 5 of A Cup of Tea with Dr. Z. And before we get straight into what we're talking about today, I just want to pour a cup for myself, and I don't know if you would want some. I'm having Earl Grey today, so you're more than welcome to have some. Ooh, fresh brew. No milk, no sugar. I do like sugar, but this is part of my new healthy me. No milk, no sugar. But go anywhere you are, get comfy, get your cushion, your cup of tea, your coffee, whatever it is that you like, so that we can really delve right in. But let me just have a quick sip. That's beautiful. I really do love an Earl Grey. What do you like? I mean, you can put it in the comments now or in the replay what you actually like to drink. I really do like an Earl Grey. Now, I've got an amazing, phenomenal special guest today. We're talking about reflecting and really thinking about resilience. So we're talking about reflecting, and I'm just going to have a quick look to see on Facebook as well, because we're streaming live on Facebook as well. So we're talking about reflecting on resilience, extraordinary stories from around the world that will inspire your new year, not just mine, but your new year. Now, we know some people would say that 2023 was terrible. Some people will say it was amazing. But the way that I look at it is that I am just so incredibly grateful. These are my legacy years. And I'm so incredibly grateful that I have another opportunity to see a bright new year, another opportunity to be amazing, another opportunity to inspire someone to be better, another opportunity to encourage, another opportunity to empower, another opportunity to be me, another opportunity to rectify mistakes of the past and do something differently. I'm just so grateful for another opportunity. So that's the way that I see it. And I think when we're talking about resilience, you're not just talking about being able to get over and get through things, but I'm also talking about getting through things, getting over things, overcoming challenges. But I'm also talking about being your best self, but I'm also talking about empowering as many people as possible to be their best selves. So it's about, rather than you being up here or me being up here, it's about pulling other people with me so that we can all be alongside, trying, working really hard to be amazing, working really hard to write and perfect and be change agents in our little part of the world. When I talk about a cup of tea with Dr. Z, it's about everyday women, just like you, just like me, everyday women all over the world doing extraordinary things. You might be listening right now and you're saying, Dr. Z, I'm just an ordinary woman. There's nothing special about me. For the fact that you are breathing, you are special. For the fact that you're listening right now, you are special. For the fact that you will listen to the replay whenever, 10 years to come, 20 years to come, 15, 30 years, even after I'm dead and gone, you are amazing. And I want you to know that I see you, I hear you. You might feel that you're not visible. You might feel that no one really cares about you, but I care. I really care. And that's from the bottom of my heart. It's all, for me, it's about being authentic. It's about being true to who you are. It's about, you might have seen just when we started, I noticed that there was lipstick on my teeth. And I went off camera, yes, I did, but it's about being real about even the things that people are not real about. People don't like showing their scars. But I call scars are things that make me who I am. Scars are things that make me amazing. Scars are what makes me phenomenal. Scars are what makes me extraordinary. Scars is what, it's like a propeller. So you have an aeroplane or you have a helicopter and it has propellers. For me, my scars are my propellers. And I want you to see your scars as propellers. I want you to understand that you are important. You do matter. If you remember the film with Viola Davis and I've forgotten the other person actually. Oh, this lovely lady. Oh, this lovely lady that was in I've forgotten her name. Anyway, the film is The Help. And you can remember when Viola Davis's character was speaking to the little girl and she was saying, you is important, you is this, obviously it was you is. And I just want you to know that you are important, you do matter, you are valuable, you are more than enough. And I don't know what you saw in 2023. I've got an itch, I don't know, just under my nose. I don't know what you saw in 2023, whether it was good, not too good, or midway. But for the fact that you're in 2024, you have gone through all sorts of things to be here. For some of us, you might have gone through COVID. I didn't have COVID all throughout the time. I probably had symptoms, but over just before Christmas, suddenly I had COVID. But I'm here today. And so why am I here? What are we talking about? Who is my guest? You're wondering, who is this mystery guest that Dr. Zena is talking about? Who is this amazing guest that wants to share the platform with me? My amazing guest is, drum roll, is me. Yay! I thought I would break out of the mold just for this particular episode. It's a new year and I'd want you to have an opportunity to hear my voice, know a little bit about me, and I don't know what's making me sneeze. So I am your mystery guest. Yes, me, the amazing, the phenomenal me. But I'm also going to be sharing the platform with other amazing women all over the world. And I'll read about them. Some of them you would have heard about. And I think it's important for us to understand that there are so many everyday women all over the world that are doing amazing things. Some people already died and some people are still here today. And they're just like you and me. So I'm going to first and foremost, talk a little bit about why it's important to recognize what you do. The thing is, we've got a saying in the Igbo language, and that's where my grandparents and parents are from. It's a place in the east. Oh, sorry, I don't know what's irritating my nose here. Somewhere in the east, part of Nigeria, and there's a saying, and they say, and I can't speak my language really well. This is really, I can't speak it well at all. This is really terrible, but I'm going to say it anyway. Now, ngwele si osisi udala wee dapụ wee n'anya left n'anya right ofuru onye na-ekilie ofuru onye na-eto ya wee too onwe ya. Okay, that sounds really like what's she talking about? So basically, it's an adage that says that the lizard, the Agama lizard, fell off the tree. You could say an oak tree, we say an udala tree, fell off the oak tree, jumps down and looked to the left and looked to the right, and no one clapped for him or her. No one cheered her on. No one said you did amazing. So what did she do? She tapped herself on the back and she cheered herself on. So the first thing about being resilient is whether or not people, I need another cup, just give me a second. Oh, it's gone a little bit cold. I think I need to give it a top up. Give me a second. You can top up yours as well if you want. Oh, amazing. Fantastic. Oh. Fantastic. So, as I was saying, the lizard didn't see anyone to cheer her on, so she tapped herself. In fact, she patted herself on the back and she cheered herself on. She encouraged herself. There's a lovely book, the bestseller, the Bible, that talks about David, King David, who, he was dancing and dancing and dancing, and he got home and so many terrible things had happened, but he encouraged himself in the Lord. So what am I saying? Part of being resilient is about being able to pat yourself on the back and encourage yourself and tell yourself that you are doing amazing things, and tell yourself that for the fact that you are alive, for the fact that you show up at work, at school, in church, in mosque, wherever it is that you do, for the fact that you show up as a mom, as a wife, as a sister, as a stepmom, as a single woman, as a widow, as someone who is in hospital, as a nurse, whatever it is that you do, or whatever, form of woman that you are, that for the fact that you show up, you are an extraordinary woman. You are resilient. When we're talking about resilience, we're talking about your identity. How, knowing that you are amazing, knowing that you are powerful more than anyone gives you any credit for. Give yourself that credit that you are phenomenal. You are amazing. And the amazing, phenomenal Dr. Maya Angelou talks about that lovely poem, Phenomenal Woman. Now, I'm going to just go through a few people that you may have heard of who are renowned for being not just phenomenal, but being exceptionally resilient. And I'm going to start with the phenomenal Malala, I can never pronounce her name, Malala Yousafzai. I've murdered her surname, but let's just call her Malala. Now, you might remember her, young Pakistani young woman, an activist, that she was really fighting resiliently for education, for women, young girls to be educated. She survived the Taliban. They tried to assassinate her so many times, even at the age of 15. But despite all the life-threatening things that she went through, she was able to champion education for girls. And in 2014, just the other day, literally 9 years ago, 10 years ago, in 2024 now, 2014, she became the youngest ever recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize. Just a little girl in a village somewhere in Pakistan. Her resilience and her determination, she was able to fight for rights of young girls and women globally. And this really exemplifies what it means to be resilient. She was an everyday young girl going to school, and she did not take no for an answer. She refused it. Then we've got the phenomenal Dr. Maya Angelou. We know she found her voice. Many of us, we have her books. We know her poetry. Some of us have enacted her poetry in so many ways, in so many formats. She was the renowned poet. She was a civil rights activist in the 60s, I think in the 50s and 60s, and even in the 70s. And she faced numerous challenges, especially in her early life. She had sexual assault, rape, racism, you name it, she had it. But despite all these hardships, she was able to find her voice through writing. She was able to find her voice through literature. She was able to find succor and solace and comfort and strength and encouragement through literature. And that was when she discovered the power of words. And you have to agree with me that the way she chooses her words, the way that she strings her words together, there is no one like Dr. Maya Angelou. And if you don't know her, I would really encourage you, whenever you're feeling a little bit down, go onto YouTube and just watch one or two of her videos, and you will be empowered, and you will know that you are here for a reason. Then we've got the amazing, if I don't talk about Chimamanda Adichie, Ngozi Adichie, that I would not be true to myself. She's an Igbo girl, Igbo woman. And I remember, she's written so many books, Half of the Yellow Sun, Purple Hibiscus, and so many more. But what I remember about her that really shows me how resilient she is not just because of her power of storytelling. She's an amazing storyteller, but also because she challenges stereotypes. Remember, she's an African woman. So we know in Africa, the thing is, very, patriarchal. We know, women are not as allowed to be as outspoken as perhaps here in the West. But she challenged that. She's always talking about gender issues. She's also always addressing the stereotypes. She advocates for gender equality. And I remember she told a story once of when she first went to America, and she was in her class. I think it was a literature class, and the lecturer had come, and he had just finished marking, and he asked, whose was this? This person's essay was the best, and it was hers. And he said, who wrote this? And she said, it was me. And he looked her up and down. He could not imagine that someone from Africa, that people that swing in the trees, could actually write such a phenomenal essay. And you would know her for her famous TED Talk, We Should All Be Feminists. And she has gone on to do amazing things in her world and in our world generally. Then we've got Rosa Parks. We all know Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks, who refused to sit at the back of the bus. She refused to give up her seat in 1955. I wasn't even born then. And I'm not going to go into it too much because you know the story. But her courage, her commitment, her resilience with regards to challenging the norms and wanting justice to be served and to be served properly has impacted our world even till today. And there are so many people. We've got Serena Williams, who was able to break barriers. Her and her sister winning on the tennis court, winning in Wimbledon, winning all sorts of grand slams, going against the norm. Who would have thought that an everyday young girl, the Williams sisters, who were trained and nurtured by their dad with little or no money, who would have thought that they would go on to be, one of the best women tennis players of all time? That shows resilience. It shows resilience and self-identity. And there's so many more I could mention. And then we've got people, like you, like me, some of you listening right now, Maybe you're navigating some sort of trauma, something you've gone through as a child. Perhaps, you've gone through domestic abuse. Perhaps you've gone through rape, and you've gone on to do amazing things using your challenge. Maybe you have children with disabilities, and you've gone on to do amazing things to support people, to make sure that these people, victims, and I don't like the words victims, have a voice. And they have a voice because you have a voice, because you found your voice. You've been able to break down all sorts of barriers. So don't look down on yourself. Don't look down on yourself. Like I said earlier on, use your scars as propellers. Your scars are propellers. You've done amazingly. And 2024 is another opportunity for you to do amazingly. Perhaps you're a single parent, like I had been for many years, navigating parenthood alone. I remember, for me, after a difficult divorce, I remember being a single mom. And I still remember, my husband at the time telling me, a fool at 40 is a fool forever. Now, I wasn't always this amazing, phenomenal, powerful speaker and coach and all the amazing things that you hear about me. There was a time I lost my confidence completely. There was a time that I felt that I did not matter for anything. There was a time that I thought that it was better that I should be dead than to be alive, because I had disgraced the church by being a divorced woman. I had disappointed God. I had disappointed my children. And then one day I realized who I was and who I am in Christ. And I can go on about this story, and that would be a different event. But what am I saying? Use your scars as your propellers. I've gone on to do amazing things around the world. Women have been empowered, impacted. Women have been able to wipe their tears and go on to do even better things than I've done. And this is what it's about. It's about being, allowing your resilience, allowing your self-identity, allowing the value that you place on yourself, not allowing imposter syndrome or anything else, or the voices that are in your head. Maybe people have told you things. Not allowing any of those things to keep you stagnant, but being able to use who you are, being able to cheer yourself on to do amazing things. The people I've talked about are people just like you, people that have been able to break cultural barriers. And I'll talk about that. I won't mention her name, a fantastic client of mine. She came from Albania about 6-7 years ago. Was it Albania? Yes, Albania. And she could not speak a word of English. She came with 3 children. She fled her abusive husband and abusive in-laws. She came to England. She couldn't speak a word of English. She didn't even know what to do with herself. And probably about after 6 months after she'd been here, I got introduced to her and we started working together. She has gone on to have a multi-dollar pound business. Dollar pound, that sounds dollar pound. A multi-dollar business. Haulage, if you know what haulage is, like lorries. Yes, lorries that freight things across country, across Europe and all that. And that's because she dared to believe. I told her she could do it, and she's doing it. And she's such a joy to work with. And I just want you to know that sometimes you just need someone to believe in you. You just need someone to be in your corner. You just need someone to encourage you, whether you're in a new country, in the same country. You need someone to tell you that you can be better and do better. You need someone to tell you that someone else is waiting for your story. They're waiting for your experience, your resilience to be able to move forward. They're waiting for you to trust the system, trust the process. And so really, I just want to reflect really on why it's important to be resilient. And I'm going to share a few tips that I think will be very, very helpful for you and for me as we navigate 2024. The first tip I will share with you with regards to resilience is about being grateful. Being grateful. It's so important. This week, I remember I don't like rain. I don't like rain in any shape or form. And that's really weird, really, being a Christian, because I know that rain, God brings the rain and the plants grows, and we have food and we have water and we have all these amazing things. But I don't like rain. Rain makes me sad. And long before I knew what sad was, seasonal depression, seasonal something depression. But long before I knew what it was, I used to feel like this as a child. I'd look out the window and it would be raining, and I'll just go really, really sad and really quiet. And I remember Tuesday, I had to go into town and I was on the train and it was raining. And I'm like, I'm on the train. I don't want to be in a train, but then I don't have my personal train, do I? I don't have an aeroplane, do I? And then I remembered I needed to be grateful that I can actually get on the train by myself, totally unaided. I don't need anyone to roll me in or roll me out. I can get on the train and I can come off the train. And this is why it's important to practice gratitude no matter what you go through. I mean, this is just it's obviously not a very big thing. It's a big thing for me because I don't like rain and I don't like going out in the rain. I know how it makes me feel. But it's about switching, changing your perspective rather than being a person that your cup is half empty. Be a person in 2024 where your cup is half full. Be someone that expects great things to happen to you. The second tip I will give you is in terms of being careful the things that come out of your mouth. For those of us that are believers, that are Christians, there's a scripture that talks about the power of life and death is in the tongue. And for those of you, excuse me, for those of you that aren't Christians, you still would know the thing about the term self-fulfilling prophecy. You need to be really, really careful what you say throughout 2024. Yes, there's a lot of uncertainty going around. We don't know what's going to happen, but you need to tell yourself that no matter what happens, no matter what comes your way, you will get through it. You will be able to overcome it. And basically, the way that you've come into 2024, you're going to end 2024 in an amazing way. That you're going to be able to dodge every bullet that comes your way. You're going to be able to encourage other people as well. So you're going to learn to be less insular and more community focused. It's about making sure that, yes, your family are all right, your friends are okay, but even people that aren't your family, that aren't your friends, stretch out a hand of fellowship to someone else. Because when you start to listen to other people's stories and other people's challenges, it will help you to be more grateful for what you're going through, but it will also help you with your perspective. And in addition, it will help you to realize that you have been brought into 2024 for such a time as this. You are resilient and you can grow your resilience muscle even more. The third tip I will tell you is in terms of making sure you have the right sort of people around you. Have a good, not even a good, an excellent support network. I'm not talking about yes people or no people. I'm not talking about yes people. I'm talking about, and if you've got any questions, please send them in. But I'm not talking about having yes people around you. I'm talking about people that can pull you up when you're down, that can tell you about yourself if you are saying things that do not honor you or honor what you stand for. The fourth tip I will talk about is know your values. What do you value? What will you allow? What do you allow? And what do you need to disallow out of your life? How does how you present yourself attract good things into your life? When we talk about physics, I know I didn't do that well in physics, but I did do physics. Yes, I was a science student in secondary school at one time. I wanted to be a medical doctor, but I remember physics, and they talk about I think the theory of magnetism, and they talk about how opposites attract. And so when you bring out your good vibes, and this is for want of, a different term, you're able to attract the same thing back. But when you are negative, you go about as a negative Nelly, you will attract negativity. Even if negativity is going on its way and you're going on, in parallel, because you're negative, you'll attract it. So be careful what you say with your mouth. Your mouth has the ability to take your life or give you life, and not just in terms of how you use it for yourself, but even in terms of how you speak to other people, your family members, your friends, your children, your colleagues at work, your colleagues in your business. How do you even talk about your business or your career? Oh, I'm never going to do well in my job. Oh, my business is never going to thrive. Oh, my child is never going to behave. Be careful what you use on how you use your mouth. The last point I will make is please, 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 don't be afraid to seek help. If you are struggling, you don't get brownie points. You're not, you won't get a cape, like Batman or Superwoman or Catwoman for suffering alone. Don't do it alone. Please, 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 throughout 2024, make sure if you are struggling or you find yourself in a ditch somewhere, look for that support network. If you want, reach out to me, send me a message on Facebook, on Instagram, anywhere, on LinkedIn. I will help you. And if I can't help you, I will signpost you. But more importantly, I will at the very least give you a listening ear. I will make sure that you are validated, because you are special and you are amazing. Last but not least, 2023 has gone. I will encourage you to reflect on the good that happened in that year, so that you can take that good into this year, and what didn't work, you can leave it in 2023, but don't throw away the baby and the bathwater. Remember, you matter, you are valuable, you are worthy, you are phenomenal, you are strong, you are resilient, and if you need to grow even more resilient, make sure you have the right people around you, people that will really prop you up and not put you down. Thank you so much for listening. It has been phenomenal. It's always phenomenal when I do this. Next week, we'll be back again in my normal format with an amazing guest. So do tune in. But today, I just want to tell you again, happy, happy, happy new year. I pray that 2024 will give you all that you deserve and much more, and that you will not just be an everyday woman, but you will be an everyday woman doing extraordinary things in your part of the world. Take care. God bless you, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for listening and tuning in to A Cup of Tea with me, I can my tea again, Dr. Z. Cheers. God bless you. See you next time. Goodbye.